Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Caleb again with Devslopes, and in the last video we created our AWS account, giving us access to AWS Lambda, which is awesome. And in this video we're going to actually explore some sample functions from Amazon using some of their templates, which is pretty exciting. And so what I'm going to do is pull open our Lambda management console like we had in the last video, and just go ahead and click Create Function. Now we can author a function from scratch, that's fine. Or we can go to a blueprint, and that's what I'm actually going to do as a starting point. And AWS Lambda can be used for much more than just a simple Alexa skill. We can use it for plenty of things. As you can see, you can look for that for yourself. Now I'm going to go ahead and search Alexa, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose fact skill or trivia skill. Let's do fact skill. Okay, that'll work. All right, so we need to give it a name. Let's go ahead and just call it Alexa skill fact. That's what the function will be called. Create new role from template or create custom role. We want to create a custom role. And just so you know, the role basically says what permissions our function has. So we're basically setting it up so that our skill can use the code in our function. Click create a custom role, and it'll pop open the IAM management console, which is where we're going to define this policy. And so just leave it as it is, create new IAM role, and leave it here with Lambda basic execution. Click allow, and it's going to basically just open it up so that we can use it in our code. Now, we're getting an error up here saying it contains external libraries, and that's basically just because we are using the Alexa SDK, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. So go ahead and scroll down and click create function, and what it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and set up our function, but I want to show you a few things. We need to set up something called a trigger, okay? And a trigger is what is going to basically pass events into our code, and then our code is going to be able to return information back to Alexa. So we need to actually add the Alexa skills kit by clicking, and you'll notice it says we need to configure triggers. So in order to do that, just click add, and what it's going to do is it's going to add a trigger to connect our Alexa skill to our AWS Lambda function. Click save, and then reload the page. And what that's going to do is it's going to set it up so that the Alexa skills kit is connected to our code. So we're good now. So now this is the code editor, and you can actually see the entire project over here on the side. You can open it up in full screen, and you can even print out results here when you run your code. And you can actually run it by clicking test, and you can set up a whole test. We're not going to talk about that right now, but check it out. So this is basically a code file that has facts saved in dictionaries for English, for English UK, and German. And there are a few different things. We have the help intent, the cancel intent, and the stop intent, which that should look familiar to you. We also have get new fact, get fact, and launch request. Okay? Now, when we call exports, it's basically going to set up all of those handlers. It's going to execute all of the code that we set upon launch. But check it out. Basically, we can have it tell us facts, all right? Now, when we launch the skill, launch request gets called by default, and launch request calls another function called get fact. Now, get fact, what it's going to do is it's going to choose a random number and pull a fact out of our facts array, okay? Then what it's going to do is it's going to say this.emit. This is going to be a really important function for us because this will basically allow us to ask questions, tell information, or even tell with card. We're not going to use tell with card, but you could definitely extend this in order to do that. Now what it's doing is it's saying tell this information, whatever speech output is, and basically speech output takes a get fact message. What that's going to do is it's basically going to present get fact message, whether it's in German or English or whatever. So it's going to say that first, and then it's going to say the random fact, which comes from the fact array at a random number. So it would say in English, for instance, it might say, here's your fact. Venus rotates anti-clockwise, possibly because of a collision in the past with an asteroid. That's how it would work. So when get fact is called, it chooses a random fact, it speaks get fact message, and it speaks the random fact. Now, tell with card also is going to share that information into your Alexa app, but that requires a bit of configuration. So let's go ahead and let's just look a little deeper at the help intent, cancel intent, and stop intent. Now, if you say, Alexa, stop, it's going to go ahead and tell the stop message, and then it's going to stop the skill. Now, the stop message is in German, Auf Wiedersehen, which I don't speak German, so I probably said that wrong. Exit message for English is goodbye. Okay. Now, help is another story. Let's go look at the help intent. We have both speech output and reprompt. And if you call this .emit with ask instead of tell, it will ask a question, and then it'll open the microphone up again for a user to say something. And you can also put in a reprompt. You can put in 2 different parameters, and if a user doesn't respond within 8 seconds, it will reprompt them, which is very cool. So, for instance, it would say, like if I said, help, I don't know what to do. It would say, you can say, tell me a space fact, or you can say exit. What can I help you with? And then if I were to wait and think, after 8 seconds, it will say, what can I help you with? And then I could say, tell me a space fact, upon which it would choose a random fact and tell me it. Pretty cool. So this is pretty similar to how our skill will work. So just keep that in your brain, keep that in your mind. And in the next video, we're going to start writing our very own Lambda functions. So let's go ahead and let's actually exit out of this. Let's go back into our functions dashboard. Let's choose this and let's go ahead and get rid of it. Delete this function because we don't need it. And let's head over to the next video and start writing our very own Lambda function to get our skill to do what we want. Very, very cool stuff. Let's do it now.